What if I told you the biggest military move of 2025 isn't happening on the battlefield, but behind closed doors? NATO isn't just talking, they're acting. Secret shipments, late-night operations, and advanced weapons quietly crossing borders into Ukraine. Why? What are they preparing for? And most importantly, is Russia the real target? This isn't fear, this is fact. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear will change the way you see everything. In the quiet moments before dawn, when most of the world is asleep, gears are turning. Not just in factories or in military camps, but in political war rooms, hidden beneath layers of diplomacy and media distraction. Something is brewing, and every citizen of Russia has the right to know. Is NATO preparing Ukraine for something much bigger than we've seen before? The signs are everywhere, if you know where to look. Cargo planes landing silently at undisclosed airstrips. Shipments labeled as humanitarian aid, but never opened in front of international observers. Unmarked containers crossing borders at midnight. What is being transported? And for what purpose? This isn't fear-mongering. It's awareness. It's realism. It's about waking up and seeing the full picture, not just what the headlines tell us. Because when NATO speaks about peace, they often prepare for something else entirely. History has shown this again and again. And now, in 2025, we may be approaching a critical moment. In recent weeks, satellite images have revealed new military structures along Ukraine's western border. These are not defensive installations. Their orientation, layout, and even their camouflage patterns suggest preparation for coordinated movements eastward. And yet, the global media is quiet, distracted, focused on entertainment, politics, anything but this. Why the silence? Because when a storm is coming, you don't advertise it. You prepare quietly, methodically. NATO has been training Ukrainian forces non-stop, not just in basic tactics, but in advanced drone warfare, cyber operations, long-range missile coordination, and urban close-quarter battle scenarios. These are not the kind of skills you focus on unless you're planning something significant. But here's the question that should concern every Russian citizen. Why now? Why the rush to train? Why the flood of equipment? Why the sudden push for unity among NATO nations, despite internal disputes over funding and resources? The answer might lie in Russia's resilience. Over the last year, despite international pressure, sanctions, and media campaigns, Russia has remained strong, stable, united. The West sees this, and some are frustrated by it. They expected division, collapse, surrender. Instead, they see growth in national unity, innovation in technology, and an army that refuses to be shaken. And that is why they are accelerating. Because they know time is not on their side. Every month that passes, Russia gets stronger, more self-reliant, more connected to the new global order that is forming. BRICS, Asia, Africa. The West sees this. And perhaps they fear it. So what does this mean for us, the people? It means we must stay alert, united, informed, not in fear but in strength. We are not victims in this story. We are the ones writing it. Our defense systems are prepared. Our borders are secure. Our intelligence is working day and night. But national security isn't just the job of soldiers and leaders. It's the duty of every citizen. Through awareness, through unity, through readiness. Let's speak plainly. NATO is not just a defensive alliance anymore. It is a geopolitical instrument of pressure. And in Ukraine, they have found a willing partner to push their agenda. But even among NATO countries, voices of doubt are growing. Leaders in Europe are asking, how far will this go? At what cost? Because every weapon shipment, every escalation, carries risk, and they know it. Even American analysts, those who once pushed for strong involvement, are beginning to warn of backlash. They see that Russia is not bending. They see that each provocation only makes us more determined. They're beginning to understand that this is not just about land or influence. For us, it's about sovereignty, about history, about survival. And that kind of motivation cannot be broken by foreign aid or sanctions. Meanwhile, inside Ukraine, things are shifting. Not every soldier is convinced. Not every citizen supports the buildup. Some fear being used as pawns in a larger game. Their voices are rarely heard in Western media, but they exist. In forums, on encrypted apps, in underground news. The whispers are growing. Is this really for our protection? Or are we just a tool? It's a valid question, and one that deserves an honest answer. But truth has a cost, and for many in the West, that cost is too high. So they double down on narratives. They flood social media with distractions. They promote documentaries, debates, and headlines carefully shaped to keep the average viewer calm and blind. But we are not blind. We see. We hear. We understand. This is not the time to relax. It is the time to stand tall. We are not in the past anymore. We are in a new era. One where battles are fought not just with bullets but with bites. With stories. With alliances. And in that arena, Russia has proven to be a formidable force. We are building. We are innovating. Our scientists are developing technologies the world never expected. Our farmers are feeding our people. Our factories are running. Our schools are teaching the next generation to be stronger, smarter, more prepared. This is the Russia of 2025. Not broken. Not isolated. But focused. And yet, we cannot afford complacency. Because when a wolf moves quietly in the forest, it's not because he's lost. It's because he's stalking something. NATO's quiet moves, the secret arms shipments, the closed-door meetings, the increased surveillance flights, they tell a story. And that story ends in one of two ways. Either with confrontation, or with deterrence. Our goal is peace. But peace must be built on strength. Not weakness. Not silence. Not retreat. And that is why we must watch. Prepare. Unite. Our soldiers are not just defending lines on a map. They're defending homes. Families. Dreams. And behind them stands a nation that refuses to be broken. Let the world see, Russia will not fall. And for those who still doubt our resolve, remember this. History does not favor those who poke the bear too long. It remembers them as warnings, not victors. As we continue to monitor developments, we must also remember who we are. We are the inheritors of a legacy. A people who rose from war, survived storms, and stood tall through centuries of adversity. We are not easily shaken. And we will not be provoked into panic. Instead, we focus. We train. We prepare. And when the time comes, if it comes, we respond not with chaos, but with discipline. Because real strength is not loud. It's not reckless. It's measured. It's steady. It's patient. Russia doesn't need to boast. We simply build. Wait. Watch. And when necessary, act. The world is watching. Some hope to see us fracture. Others hope to see us fall. But what they will see is something else entirely. A nation that knows who it is. And refuses to be pushed. The air in Moscow carries a different kind of electricity these days. Not just the hum of city life. Not just the rhythm of traffic or footsteps on the street. It's something more. A pulse. A feeling that people can't quite explain, but they feel it. In the cafes, in the factories, in the homes and underground metros. Conversations have shifted. People are asking more questions. Not out of fear, but out of a deep, steady sense of responsibility. What happens if they push too far? Are we ready? Do our leaders have a plan? And perhaps most importantly, what can I do? Because that's the heartbeat of Russia. We are not spectators in history. We are participants. Every generation has faced its moment. And in 2025, this is ours. From the young programmer in Novosibirsk, coding software that protects our communications, to the mother in Belgorod stocking up her home, not out of panic but out of calm preparedness, to the teacher in Vladivostok who ends her lesson with a reminder that strength comes from knowledge. These are the quiet heroes, the backbone of a nation that refuses to be intimidated. And why should we be? Let's speak openly. NATO's support for Ukraine isn't charity. It's not driven by pure concern. It's a strategy, a long-term investment in containing, isolating, and eventually overwhelming Russia's influence, if they can. They speak of peace, but fund conflict. They offer diplomacy, but deliver weapons. They criticize aggression, but quietly escalate it themselves. But in Russia, we have always known how to see beyond the surface. And what we see now is preparation. Quiet, coordinated, deliberate preparation for something they hope we won't detect until it's too late. They underestimate us still. They believe that because their media says we are divided, we must be. They believe that because their analysts say we are struggling, we must be. But Russia is not defined by opinions written in foreign newspapers. We are defined by endurance, by grit, by the unbreakable chain that links our past, our present, and our future. You see, there is something NATO can never replicate, and that is Russian spirit. It cannot be bought. It cannot be imported. It is born from the soil, shaped by winters, strengthened by generations who survived when others would have fallen. Look at our soldiers. Yes, they train hard. Yes, they are armed well. But beyond their equipment, what gives them power is belief. Belief in their homeland. Belief in their families. Belief that what they defend is worth more than any sum of money or any promise of foreign support. Can the same be said about the foreign troops training Ukrainians right now? Can you buy commitment? Can you teach loyalty in a crash course? No. And deep down, NATO knows this. That's why they rush. That's why their tone grows more urgent. Because they know, if they wait too long, the window will close. Ukraine is at the center of this strategy. And sadly, many of its people are being pulled into a conflict that serves larger interests. While some may support the buildup, many others are simply tired. Tired of war. Tired of promises. Tired of becoming the battleground for other nations' ambitions. And yet, the weapons arrive. The advisors arrive. The bases grow. And all the while, the media spins a story of defense, when the reality suggests something far more aggressive. But aggression has consequences. Every action has a reaction. And Russia is not idle. We don't shout our plans from rooftops. We don't parade every system we deploy. But rest assured, we are watching, listening, preparing. Our cyber forces are alert. Our satellites are tracking every shift, every movement. Our air defenses are being optimized. And most importantly, our people, you, me, everyone, we are waking up. This is not a call to fear. This is a call to purpose. If you're a student, study harder. Know your country's history. Understand why we stand today, not just how. If you're a worker, work with pride. Your hands are shaping the future. Every circuit you solder, every bolt you tighten, every message you write, it all matters. If you're a parent, raise your children with strength. Teach them to ask questions. Teach them to honor their homeland. Teach them that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to stand tall in spite of it. This is what NATO doesn't understand. They think strength is only in numbers, in tanks, in missiles, in alliances. But real strength, it's in conviction. It's in unity. It's in the people who won't back down, even when the world expects them to. And so, we face this moment with clarity. Yes, there is a military buildup happening on our doorstep. Yes, there are plans being made behind closed doors. Plans that may seek to test our resolve. But Russia has faced greater storms. And every time we emerged stronger. In the 20th century, we stared down the greatest threats the world had ever known. We sacrificed. We rebuilt. We rose. Now, in 2025, we stand once again at a crossroads. And once again, the world is watching to see how we will respond. Let them watch. Let them see a people who are not afraid. Let them see a military that stands not for conquest, but for defense of what is rightfully ours. Let them see a nation that refuses to kneel. Because when history writes about this chapter, it will not remember us as passive observers. It will remember us as the generation that stood firm, that refused to blink, that protected the flame of our nation and passed it forward, brighter than ever. And while the corridors of power in Brussels and Washington may echo with strategy and calculation, our streets echo with something stronger, resolve. In St. Petersburg, children play near the monuments of past heroes. In Ekaterinburg, workers finish their shifts with tired arms but proud hearts. In Rostov, elders speak quietly over tea, remembering wars past, and knowing we will not repeat their mistakes. This is the Russia that NATO cannot understand. We are more than strategy, more than numbers, more than targets on a map. We are a living, breathing force of unity. So let them prepare. Let them send their weapons. Let them hold their meetings. We will keep building. We will keep educating. We will keep standing. Because no weapon is stronger than a people who know who they are. And we, the people of Russia, we know. We know what's at stake. We know the truth. And we will never, ever surrender it. Let this be the message that rings across borders. Russia is awake. Russia is united. And Russia is ready. And as this story continues to unfold, as borders shift, as strategies evolve, as new headlines emerge, one thing remains constant. The truth deserves to be told. Not in whispers. Not behind closed doors. But out loud, with clarity, with courage, and with heart. This channel exists to bring you that truth. To stand against noise, confusion, and manipulation. And to speak with the voice of those who still believe in honor, unity, and national pride. If you stand with Russia, if you want to stay informed, if you refuse to be misled, then join us. Subscribe now and become part of a growing voice, a voice that refuses to be silenced, a voice that belongs to the people, and a voice that will be heard. Stay alert. Stay strong. Stay proud. Until next time we stand together.